Welcome to the first episode of Frankly Speaking. This is where I talk about current events and I speak frankly. And this one, we're going to talk about Apple versus Apple. This is where I saw that they're releasing a new headphone called Powerbeats Pro. This is going to be another addition to a very large wearable line. So, Apple AirPods, they're now coming out with the second version, but Apple AirPods in general have done very well. They're priced at $159 for a charging case, and now this new generation is now priced at $199 for the wireless charging case, which alludes to what Apple has been talking about for a couple years now, having a device that charges your technology wirelessly. So these new Powerbeats Pro, I think they're going to do well, but it's a totally different type style, and the only problem I have with it is how big it is as far as the case. What I love about the AirPods, it seamlessly works with my life. I put them in my pocket, there's a small little case that charges them while they're not being used, and then I pull them out when I need them. These Powerbeats Pro, the case is rather large, something I don't plan to just put in my pocket and walk around with. They do mention it's more for the fitness people, but I don't know if I plan to spend $250 just to work out with that I don't use on a daily basis. So I don't know how well these will do, but the fact that they're offering them is just another way for people to spend money and give Apple some revenue. These Powerbeats Pro have an ear hook and are wireless, and they're able to be purchased currently, and they're delivering about June 20th to June 27th. So in about a month, you'll be able to receive them. I'm interested to see if they'll sell out like the Apple AirPods did back in the day. Just a little interesting news about how Apple AirPods have done since they first came out in 2016. So, iPhone 7, 2016. This was the first iPhone to be released with no headphone jack. And people were pretty livid. They were upset. But I think Apple understood what the future was. Wireless. And I agree, many years from now we'll all understand this was definitely the way to go. Anyone that currently has any Apple or any wireless headphones in general understands, wow, there's no way I'm ever going back to a wire attaching from my ears to my phone. Not convenient at all. A few months after the iPhone 7 released, on December 13th, 2016, Apple AirPods released a solution for the non-headphone jack iPhone. Instead of Apple providing a free pair of wired headphones with every purchase of a new phone, they now let you purchase your own headphones. And the most obvious choice would be the Apple AirPods because of their compatibility with the actual device. While I was pretty disappointed that I didn't get a free pair of Apple AirPods with my purchase of a very expensive iPhone, for the company Apple, separating the two gave them a lot more money and potential for an increasing wearable brand. When you look at the actual numbers, it's pretty impressive what they've done with these AirPods. Now, in the grand scheme of things, the revenue they're making off these AirPods doesn't really affect their top or bottom line too much, but by itself, it could be a company on its own with how much money they're making. Now, this is speaking just on the AirPods alone. In 2017, they sold about 14 to 16 million units, according to Forbes. In 2018, they sold 26 to 28 million. Now, in comparison, they sold 218 million iPhones in 2018. So the attachment rate is about 12%. For every person buying a phone, 12% buy the AirPods. People think that's going to change. It's going to be increasing over time. More and more people will buy AirPods or headphones from Apple when buying a phone. The AirPods account for about $4 billion in revenue, which sounds like a lot, but it's less than 2% of Apple's total revenue. Many people believe that the units sold will continue to increase to pretty large numbers over the years to come. And it might be that up to 80 million AirPods would be sold by 2020. which equate to about $13 billion in revenue. The iPad is about $19 billion in revenue. So just the Apple AirPods alone can start to compete with something that's been around for such a long time, the iPad. And this confirms the statement made by Apple that their wearable business could be a Fortune 200 company, alone, standalone. And it seems to make sense. They're doing a lot of sales. And the cool thing is, it's become in our culture, like a thing to talk about. You see memes all over the place about Apple AirPods and jokes being made about, oh, only the rich can afford them, or certain statements like that, but it surely has entered pop culture. So now that you heard how well Apple AirPods has done and the belief that it will continue to sell a lot, it's interesting to see that they're now releasing a competitor to their AirPods, the Powerbeats Pro. And a while back, Apple bought Beats headphones, the Beats company, from Dr. Dre. And now they have two brands of headphones, Apple headphones and Beat headphones, under the same company. So this release of the Powerbeats Pro has the potential to do well alongside the AirPods. In my opinion, they'll probably sell out because of the popularity of this brand. But I don't know if they'll be as good and as universally enjoyed as the Apple AirPods. I don't think there's any doubt that the Apple AirPods are just exactly what you need in a set of headphones, as opposed to what these Powerbeats Pro will be. I'm personally not a fan of an ear hook. I don't like a thing that wraps around my ear. I just like it in my ear. But I know they've sold those before in just a different version where it's wired. So they'll probably do well there. The main gist is that they have another set of headphones to provide them revenue. And they're just capturing more and more of the market. The future for Apple is really exciting. Their move into the services business seems right to me. They still sell iPhones, but they're now moving into all these different fields that will give them more money, bigger brand recognition, and just more market share. More reasons and more things to do on your iPhone. Would love to know what you guys think about these new Beats Pro. If you haven't looked at them yet, maybe type them in Powerbeats Pro. They're pretty expensive, and I really believe that they're too bulky as far as the everyday use type of headphone, but would love to know what you think. As always, the discussion in today's podcast is my personal opinion. I may have interest in the stocks I talk about, therefore I do not endorse anyone to buy or sell stocks based on what they hear. This podcast is for information purposes only, and not for the purpose of providing specific financial advice. You may want to seek out a financial professional to obtain financial advice. Alright guys, thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one.